welcome to Week 8 of the WSSEA 2025 spring season, of course, powered by Landfest. It's the final game of the regular season. We've got an exciting best of 5 between two top-tier teams.
Last week of the regular season, a bunch of these teams, all of these teams, I should say, have been pushing forward to the playoffs.
That's right. We got Lake Stevens, who is undefeated, 6-0, taking on Stadium Rocket League, who I believe is 1-5. A bit of a tough season for them, but I mean, what a way to wrap up the season if you could find a way to topple this undefeated squad. So maybe a potential upset on the cards, but I'm sure Lake Stevens is looking to lock in that undefeated regular season.
Yeah, and so with Lake Stevens undefeated, they will be solidifying some real solid postseason positioning and whatnot. Other side, Stadium here looking for their second W and looking to play spoiler and maybe ruin a little bit of that perfect season. Taking a look at these players in Lake Stevens, we have Agro Fusion, we have Wild, and we have Mantis. Taking a look at Stadium here, we have Call Me Curry, we have Kichi Koto, I believe I'm saying that right, and Melly Godsent. Love it, love it.
Always love taking a look at those gamer tags, you know, and we were lucky enough to get a little blurb from Coach Stevens before we got going here today, and he had talked about how, you know, Lake Stevens has been around pretty much since the early inception here of WSSEA in 2021, but they've always kind of fallen a little bit short in Rocket League, and in more recent years had a little kind of struggles finding members to fill that team, but they feel like they've got an incredibly strong team this year. I think they further proved that near the beginning of the season when they were able to topple last year's champion. So they're really proud of these three players that you had mentioned, Agrofusion, Wild, Mantis. They feel like they've got a really solid squad. Things have been going great for them this year, and even though they're confident about today's game, 6-0 versus 1-5, one thing I like that the coach said that the kids aren't taking this W for granted. They're still going to come out here, work hard for these full 5-minute rounds, and look to put this one away. But we'll waste no more time. It's Week 8, a best of 5, as Lake Stevens takes on Stadium.
Well, the Stadium going to be taking this ball into the opposite side of the pitch here and early. Everybody kind of giving this one up. This is DB3 here for Stadium. Not 100% sure which of these, Call Me Curry, Chikoto, or probably Melly Godsend. Not 100% sure. Regardless, we will continue on here. But yes, that was Kennedy Catholic. This Lake Stevens squad was able to put down right there during that regular season. Probably the best notch on their belt of that regular season hot sauce so far. And so we start talking about a potential undefeated season. Game 1 of 5, possibly, though. So we got a long ways to go before we get there. Bouncing ball up towards the front. 350, Lennon Mantis almost takes the top off of that one for the first score in this best of 5. Now Wild Viking just trying to get there, really. It's a dangerously across the middle, block from Stadium High School. Doney comes all the way back at this one, tries to get in a better position. They're only looking at one. Oh my goodness. Only one boost right there, Hot Sauce, and they had nothing more than a front row seat to watch Mantis cook.
Yeah, man, it's out here cooking. I must have cooked up a little accident here myself and kicked the cord loose, but we got it all ironed out here nonetheless. And for Lake Stevens, it took them a little bit of time to score this goal. So Stadium showing some good early defense, but they've got to find a way to get it something in transition here as well. As we can see, Mantis already back down through the corner of the pass near in front of the net, back toward the center, but not able to capitalize. And maybe a breakaway opportunity here for Stadium. The chip shot is just a little high and to the right there, so not able to quite find that equalizer just yet.
Not quite yet. Now, plenty of time with which to do it. 3 minutes to go right here as Seg kind of flips forward to it. Maybe a little bit of a fake because that was just kind of a dagger shot along the ground. Didn't have to be bouncing high and be super aerial if it's traveling that fast a lot of the times. Clear here for Stadium as they try and follow it up. No, it's another kind of early pre-jump at this one that yields a little bit of nothing.
Nothing just yet as Mantis will find the flick over one, gets over a second defender, one more to beat, and he's not quite able to do it. The battle bus will step forward, find a stop, but Lake Stevens not done just yet, looking for a second opportunity here. We've got Wild Vikings up into the sky. They'll be able to touch that one in subtly, so Not sure if maybe some of these students are playing on an alt account or a school account here, because I know some of the names are a bit different than what we had initially figured from those rosters. But nonetheless, Lake Stevens coming out strong here, 2-0, a good start as we've just gotten about halfway through this first one.
And not 100% sure, perhaps a Fortnite account used within the Epic account for the Rocket League game. Who knows? Regardless, Stadium playing the same players within, same players they have opted with rest of the regular season and whatnot. 2 minutes and 14 seconds. A weird bouncing ball and a weak clear here from Stadium. It looked dangerous from Viking there for a second, but now it's Mantis off the wall yet again. Shot over an easy block there for Donny.
Ooh, unfortunately, they can't keep it out for too long. It'll be Lennon to find this assist eventually, but we saw that nice save. Wild able to come up again. It's kind of this relentless pressure here from Lake Stevens. These third-man rotations have been on point, and now after a little bit of a struggle to find that first goal, they found a few in succession. They found their stride as well, and it's Lake Stevens up by 3.
Seg kind of waiting in the wings in this one. It's a weaker clear here in first, and maybe a little bit of life here for Stadium. Bouncing ball all the way up to the sky, tries to meet it there, but it seems like Stadium was just a little bit too slow.
Can't quite get there in time. Wild Viking trying to find that flick over the head, but will be stopped here at midfield by Stadium, and now they pressure forward, a bit of a double commit, and we see Lennon waiting there patiently, able to find that save. Now looking for a clear of their own, up in toward the sky. The chip shot over the head, off the backboard. They almost connect, but Stadium will dodge a bullet and a goal on that one.
Maybe a early shot right there, but not going to be enough from Stadium. Still looking at that 0 as of right now. 3-0 to be exact. It's Lake Stevens tries to get something going here. Perhaps a little bit of a run. Perhaps really just kind of a miscoordination between two teammates, unfortunately, right there, as the last player is let back for goalie duties. Up and over, brutal looks. That last hit was actually from a Stadium player.
Yeah, unfortunate here now. Lake Stevens starting to run away with it a bit, and I think just trying to get a car on the ball there, but not quite enough power to push it away from the back of the net. So Lake Stevens will find their fourth, a little less than a minute here left in this one. And even if Stadium doesn't win this game, if they could find a way to put a goal or two on board, it could be huge, as Wild Viking will get another one here. Unfortunately, we saw Donnie trying to get back here in time with that battle bus, but couldn't quite find the bicycle kick they were looking for.
Yeah, it was difficult to do. It's kind of back, kind of to like the left side right there for that kick, and is a solid attempt. That's really all you can do there with no boost to speak of as well, and the velocity and trajectory of that ball. 40 seconds left in this one, 5-0 as of right now. This time is quickly dwindling away for the Stadium squad, and that might be the nail in the coffin.
Yeah, I mean, again, we talk about it 6-0 now with only 36 seconds left. I would go ahead and stake that Lake Stevens has certainly solidified game one win here. For Stadium, it's can they complete a little side quest? Can they find a goal or two to work back in toward this game and maybe breed a little confidence heading into game number 2, excuse me.
Yeah, and we always talk about how Rocket League is a game of momentum. We'll see how much this momentum changes, or if Stadium is able to at least get one for the road here, Hot Sauce. This is a decent angle. That's not a huge clear inside, and that's at least going to be one for Stadium. Nicely done. Nicely done. No one likes staring at that donut, that 0 on their side of the scoreboard there, Hot Sauce, with exiting a game 1.
That's right. Side quest complete. We get a little experience in our pocket, plus 10 charisma maybe, and now we could look toward maybe finding a final goal here before these last 10 seconds expire. DB has been bumped away. It's only one opponent down here for Stadium as we see a demo come in. The net's wide open, and DB will find the second with only 1 second remaining here.
Okay, so take a little momentum and add a little bit to it, Hot Sauce. How about that, right? I was talking about how good it would feel to take one goal out of this game. They see a second one with 1 second left. Now, this fans of either of these teams, it will not change the overall outcome of this. Wow, I was going to say, 1 second isn't going to change the overall outcome, the overall score line of this, right? Well, that just got pretty close to it, but a 6-2 game here in the very beginning with all of the Stadium Varsity shots coming out of one player. Now, on the other side, I do have to notice Hoagies only with 4 score, meaning they only touched the ball, actually, Hot Sauce, twice.
Yeah, unfortunately, just not able to quite get as involved, but, wasn't necessarily needed at the moment. Just kind of, I think, maybe playing some of these third player rotations, and just, I think Lake Stevens was kind of controlling the pace and the ball so much that maybe they just didn't get as many opportunities as they would have liked. So we'll see if things change up already. Kicking off a touch right there from Hoagies. So powering into the corner, Lennon through the sky, and now Lennon has swapped over toward this Scarab as well. He says, I see your battle bus, and I'll raise you a Scarab.
Raise you a bug. I like it. 20 seconds into this one. That is going to be a shot attempt against Lake Stevens and a required save there, so perhaps Stadium starting this one off with a little bit of hot, spicy fire action. Viking sends this one way skyward. Capitalizing upon it, DB the third, DB3. Wild Viking kind of flipping up to this, and it's going to end out in more of a fake than anything, and that looks really, really good. Stadium, inside it catches the bottom left lip, but it's the follow-up taking the lead. The Stadium High School for the first time in the series.
Donnie on the battle bus. It was a nice shot, maybe just a hair off target. It clipped that post, but talking about being in the right place at the right time, Stadium adjusting here in these rotations. They had that follow-up shot, and all of a sudden they find themselves out in the lead here against this team where they had a little bit of trouble with in game number 1.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, this was really close to a 6-0. I mean, last 18 seconds or so, this was a 6-0. It was the really well put together goal at the last second, or a really well put together goal, about 18 seconds. And then the second one for that momentum, right? So now in a 3-goal uninterrupted run for Stadium High School. Now can they sustain this, turn this into a W, boil this best of 5 and best of 3, Hot Sauce?
Consistency is king, and consistency can be key. That's the name of the game. A full 5 minutes as Lake Stevens was knocking at the net, but Stadium able to keep this one out for the time being. Wild Viking pinch off the sidewall, looking for a bit of help here as well, but it is Seg who finds that touch. A booming shot in the other direction. It'll be above the crossbar, but a second attempt from DB3, who has really come alive here in these last few games here, including at the end of that first one.
A little backflip action from DB the third. A bouncing ball, but Mantis and his scarab-looking bug car is not going to be disrupted and taken their eyes off the ball so easily, but an unrelenting offense here from the Stadium High School squad is continuing to lay on pressure and doesn't look like they're alleviating anytime soon. Nice clear, though. I stand corrected.
Able to finally get that clear in and down the other direction here. The Scarab does go, maybe looking for a potential bump after that play, but the ball does get taken away. And now DB3, look at the channel, his inner Lionel Messi, but it does get stopped and taken away. Lake Stevens the other direction, but not for long as the big demo comes into play.
Teammates hitting each other, but then coordinating for a solid little hit up against the wall. And now another one. This is just feasted right to the middle. And yeah, this ball was traveling so fast. Shot pinned on in there from Wild Viking. It's going to be tough for anybody to try and get on top of that one. Yes, breaking most American speed limits at 68 miles an hour.
Well, Lake Stevens, they find that important equalizer. We'll see who is the next team to respond here and regain or take the lead for the first time in game number 2 in the case of Lake Stevens. This ball is floating dangerously around midfield. Stadium had committed far forward, but the secondary touch will buy them a bit of time. They kind of coagulate together in the corner just a bit, but will eventually find that half clear.
Pop play up, last player back. It's a weak clear, but nobody else from Lake Stevens is able to go for it there and try and take this lead back. Low scoring affair it was indeed. This was about 4-0 earlier as the demo does come in. Lake Stevens player will be deleted to 4 right now. Lennon Mantis, tries to out on top of this one. A bouncing ball. Is that sent? No, it's not censored enough. That's not going to roll in.
Yeah, unfortunately, just a hair to the right there, but Stadium certainly picking up here in both departments. Now Seg just had a little bit too much power heading forward there. Couldn't reorientate the car there to find the touch that was necessary. Now Lennon the other direction into the corner, and a little bit of back and forth here in this game too.
Yeah, a little volleyball action, a little set and serve here, Hot Sauce. It is of no surprise to me that the series slows down. That's a bad angle. Oh, man. What a way to take the lead back, I suppose, here. Wild Vikings second shot, second goal, so it's not like, these efforts are all for naught by any means, or this was just pure luck that they have goals on the board here, but that is a crazy angle. And you just have to deal with those. You put your nose to the grindstone and get back to this, because that could have happened your way, it could have happened the other way. It's just the way it goes. This is Rocket League, as they say.
Exactly. It's just one of those things that happens from time to time in Rocket League, and there's really no time left to dwell on it. You got a minute here. You got 60 seconds to try and find another one to tie things up, but Lake Stevens served up a platter in front of the net, and Lake Stevens, Wild Viking, will find the third one. It's a 2-point cushion, and now Stadium going to have to come from behind here again in this last minute. We saw a couple quick goals in that remaining 20 seconds of game one. They're going to need to channel something similar here.
Yeah, 3-goal run there from Stadium across two different games. I thought that was going to be a really big difference, and it ends up being just that. This game just got turned on its ear. We saw a 3-goal run from Stadium towards the end after 6 in a row were scored from Lake Stevens, then 3 more right there from Lake Stevens. Well, we just got one back from Stadium High School. We got 50 seconds. We got a 1-score difference, and I do not know where this carousel stops.
Yeah, you got to wonder if maybe they hadn't had that lucky bouncing goal, we'd be tied right now, and an opportunity for Stadium to look for that lead, but instead they're going to have to look to find one more just for the idea of sending it toward overtime. And Lake Stevens already knocking at the net. They're going to avoid this one somehow, but the ball not out of deep waters just yet.
No, it isn't. Dangerous plays right here, but Stadium has got to get this one out of their side of the pitch if they want to go forth, get this equalizer, push this to overtime, or even get a second one within regular time. This just got a lot harder. You need a big clear right now. Neither of your players right there really have any boost to be spoken of. That's a decent start. Doney off the wall right here, but Wild Viking really, who has been just the paramount of striking capability and accuracy for this Lake Stevens squad, sends this one flying, and this one ends up the same result, but a much different method to get there. 6-0 until the last 18 seconds of game number 1, ends out 6-2, 3-2 for the last 50 seconds or so of this one, and the shot attempts actually going the way of Stadium Varsity.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, they have to be proud about the changes they made from game 1 to game 2, and they were very close to taking a game away from a team that really hasn't dropped many rounds or maps throughout the entirety of this season. So certainly a great job here by Stadium, but they just need that little bit extra to be able to close out a game like that versus Lake Stevens. So they'll have one more opportunity at a minimum here to do so, and they'll need that opportunity to extend the longevity of this series.
And we'll see if this series finishes here, if it continues on to 4 or even 5 games. But speaking of fantastic competition, I want to go ahead and give a little shout out to LandFest. Yes, thanks to LandFest for building healthy communities through gaming, with only over 20 chapters across the U.S. and more than 150 events per year. Crazy stuff. Y'all head on over to landfest.com, check out our Washington chapters, which is, of course, Infernoland and Emerald City Landfest, to find an event near you.
Let's go. I know they've got something cool going on over here in my part as well. They got a Super Smash tournament coming up at our local zoo here in Akron. So always some cool stuff happening over at Landfest. Cool. But back to some other cool action here at hand. To the pitch. 4:20 left on the clock. The score is here reset to 0. A solid opportunity for Stadium, and honestly, I'm pretty impressed with Donnie's ability to play as well as he had with this battle bus. It's not an easy thing to do, and we've already seen Mantis, who maybe struggled a little bit in that last one, swapping off of the Scarab and back toward that Octane.
Yeah, just makes a little bit of sense. Nasty ground pinch attempt. Ball is wayward, and Mantis is going to feast upon that every single time they're given that opportunity. 1-0 here early, a little bit less than a minute into game number 3.
Didn't take them as long this time to get on the board. We'll see if Stadium can find that relatively quick response here. And maybe, just maybe, off the kickoff.
Okay.
We were looking for a quick response. We're going to get it right there. We can see those Thug Life glasses floating down for DB3 off the kickoff. A beautiful one here to tie things up. And, well, it took a minute for Lake Stevens to find their first one. It only took about a second for Stadium to get theirs.
Back to a true neutral situation. Love to see it by hook or by crook. Hey, well, I mean, you mentioned it that we should. There's an alternate universe right now, Hot Sauce, where we're casting a game to overtime because that wonky angle did not end up the way for Lake Stevens in game number 2, giving them that 3-2 lead. So perhaps the Rocket League gods just giving the one back. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe giving a little credit where credit is due, but they still have to find a way to put more than one on the board if they want to take a game away from Lake Stevens here, as their backs are against the wall as they look to close out the regular season. Lake Stevens trying to remain undefeated and now off to a good start to do so, but that one will bounce to the wayside and Stadium will look for a clear.
Seg off the wall right now, tries to deliver this one in themselves. Not going to happen as easily. Lake Stevens just much faster on the transition. That's not something that's been new to this game number 3 as well. Wild Viking just kind of waiting in the wings, hanging out like, hey, who's going to feed me? Just give me the ball. I'll go forth, put in another hat trick for the 3rd time of this series. Hat trick in game number 1, which is a lot easier to do given that there were 6 total scores. Nicely done,
Oof.
Wild Viking. Just as I talk about it, not even going to get awarded with a shot attempt on this one.
Yeah, this was off Stadium. This was off DB3 here in the corner backing up, and he actually knocks it toward the net. Honestly, had he even just stayed still, that ball might have gotten popped up, but because they were going in reverse there, it ends up knocking it right toward the net. So Lake Stevens will find their second one with a little bit of help here from Stadium, but now an open net again, and Lake Stevens has found the secret sauce to success. That's now a couple in a row as they get a 2-point cushion.
As soon as I talk about this player here, about Wild Viking, and them not having a hat trick yet, their head is uncovered, Hot Sauce. They put up not 1 but 2 in the space of about, 12 seconds?
Yeah, blink an eye and you might miss it. Now they're hungry for more. They're hungry for the goals, and Lake Stevens just can't seem to get full at the moment, but Stadium, a nice opportunity down here in this purple territory. The half clear comes in, scooped up at midfield by Mantis as it bounces around. A big demo from Stadium, but there's still one back here to keep the drive alive. They kind of get a little bit squirrely around the ball, though.
Yeah, a little fancy footwork right there does set a couple of Stadium players off. And we have a Rule 1 across the wall. Yes, we have a Rule 1. This will be a 2v2 for the time being until this score comes. If you're Stadium, oh, no, they get broken apart. Nicely done. Fair break, fair break.
Oh, maybe if you've got one of your star players locked up over there, you want to free them from jail. And whether that was the key factor to it working or not, something certainly clicked here as Lake Stevens will find another one. This time it's Mantis by himself to push it into the back of the net. And now Lake Stevens will find a similar outcome toward that first game where they had a nice commanding lead. They got a lot of breathing room to work with. They can afford to make a minor mistake here or there and still come out okay. So it's going to be all up to Stadium here to find a way back into this one.
It's true. It's true. Giving up 2 right here, still taking it down for 3. Giving up 3, though, is no bueno. And honestly, Stadium hasn't scored more than 2 goals in any of these games so far, so it's one of those things that just might tell me that this is a squad that just needs a little bit of time to formulate their plots as they're going forth and trying to get in that offensive stance. We'll see how that goes, and if Stadium's able to put pedal to the metal, get one of these in early quickly here, so they do not quickly just become an enemy of time.
Yeah, already time starting to become, I think, that big enemy here. If you take a look, we're just about 10 seconds away from this minute mark here, and to get 3 goals in a minute, not impossible, but it's certainly a tall task to ask here from this squad. And with Lake Stevens finding these big booming clears, continuously eating 5 to 10 seconds off the clock, and now finding another nail in the coffin. Lake Stevens looking to close out their regular season now undefeated.
Yeah, and that's just such a perfect pop play up and over to the left. Any higher, it gets blocked by the crossbar. It gets blocked by the backboard. Any little bit lower, you're talking about a bouncing ball that Stadium might have been able to get on top of and defend. But 4 scores, 50 seconds. Not saying it's impossible. I'm just saying it'll take a lot.
Will take a lot. 1 goal at a time is what we like to say. But again, we keep talking about these big booming clears already the other direction. It's a beautiful save, but it's Lake Stevens who continues to eat 7 to 10 off the clock per play here, and that was just 30 seconds to find 4 goals. You have to feel like Lake Stevens has solidified that undefeated season.
You got to. Little backwards hit right here from Seg. That has not been their issue so far by any means. When it's required to kind of get this crazy malleable action going, Lakes are members of Stadium High School here, definitely able to flip back, sideways, forwards, wherever you really need them to get these defensive plays going. Now that's a little bit of a different story, as this one was taken from on high, from the skies right here. Not much to be done about it. 17 seconds, 5-score difference.
Yeah, you feel like Stadium maybe could find a goal or two. We saw a couple late 20-second goals coming in game 1, even in game 2 as well. But regardless, 2 or 3, it's just not going to be enough. Lake Stevens will close out the regular season as one of the few undefeated teams. I know we got to see Tenino last week, who was also undefeated. I think one of these only 2 teams here. So a great regular season for Lake Stevens as they get prepped and ready for that postseason. For Stadium Varsity, they had a tough season, but I think how well they played against this top undefeated team really goes to show volumes for how far they have come along as well. And realistically, almost took game 2 away. We probably should have at least seen an overtime, but it just got one of those cheeky little bounces that just didn't go their way, unfortunately.
Yeah, you said it best, my friend. An undefeated squad is going to go forth and do what undefeated squads do. They do win this in 3-0, but that game 2 was not necessarily just a gimme, not by any means. A 1-score difference that, as you mentioned, only really got there off the back of a really wonky angle and all the way through here. So a fantastic job for Lake Stevens. They will put forward the best foot they can, the best foot they possibly can for any kind of playoff positioning here, Hot Sauce. Another fantastic season, another fantastic scholastic season of WSSEA going to be in the books here soon.
We hope that you have an absolutely wonderful night. You guys have been amazing. That legend to my right there is Tugboat. My name is Hot Sauce. Take care and have a wonderful evening.